Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I see my screen.
Yeah, yes, we can see your screen,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, that's it. So I have like a small, I have some slides to just share. Probably the theory aspect of SQL, just basics. You might still need to read up some more on it, but this is the few that you need to get you started or get your feet off the ground. Um, what is SQL? SQL is the standard language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data in databases. This is a standard for, working with databases. It stands for structured query language. It lets you access and manipulate databases. And it became the standard of American audit forms in 1986 and ISO in 1987. So this is like a proper standard. If you're working with databases, you need SQL. The second slide, what can SQL do? All these notes, I got them from, what's this, the name of this? W3 Schools. So if you really want to, get more knowledge on it, you can always go to W3 Schools. But these are just some things I can pick from there. SQL can execute queries against the database, can retrieve data from database, all these things, insert, update, delete, create new databases. Practically, you can use SQL to do anything on a database. And even though it is the ANSI or ISO standard, there are different versions of SQL language. As you probably may have come across MySQL, Oracle SQL, MS SQL. These are different versions that SQL has. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. But all of them do practically the same thing. It's just like they do the same thing. You just have different syntax. Just like how we all speak English, or Americans have their own way of talking. The British people have their way of talking. Just have their own slang they add to it. So they basically just do the same thing. So we're just going to start with. Okay, let me go to this last slide. Rdbms. This stands for Relational Database Management System. It is the basis for SQL and for all modern database systems such as MS SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, and Microsoft Access. You will need a relational database management system when you're working with SQL. The one we're going to use today is what's the name of it? SFMS, SFMS for managing SQL. That's what we're going to work with today. And you need to know what a database is. I believe, I don't know. Let me know assume. A database is content is like, how do I put it? A database. It's just where you store information. Basically, I can call the images on my phone like a database. Just like a place of storing information, but it's different. You cannot just call it a database. You know, it's like a repo. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm probably everywhere. So let me just follow the slides like I planned. Database most often contains one or more tables. Each table is identified by a name, customers or orders. Tables contain records and also fields. Records are also known as rows and fields are also known as columns. So this is how a database most of the time is structured. There are different types of databases. I did not write that down here, but I'm just going to put out the different type of databases. There is structured database. There's structured database, and there's database that doesn't really have a structure. We're going to be dealing with a structured one here. And these are some terminologies associated with SQL that you more likely more than more like I forgot what I want to say. This is what you mostly come across, especially in interviews. They like asking this question: data definition language, data manipulation language, data query language, data control language. There are some things you just need to, put at the back of your mind. So if you learn it, it will be beneficial for you. Data definition language is a subset of SQL which is used to define data structures, like creating table, alter table. When you just hear, like you can even like know what it means by the full meaning. Data definition language used to define, create a table, alter a table, manipulation, you can use to manipulate the data. And then query language, just use to query the data. Select statement is a very good example of a data query language, here. And then there's data control. There's still more. This is just 4. I'm sure there's still like TCL. There's still more, but this is basically what I will introduce it. I'll use as introduction today. Now we can get our hands dirty by going proper into. We are going to go into database now. I'm going to be using MS SQL. If you want to download, I don't know if you have it in your system, that's great. But if you want to download it, you can just go to SSMS download, and then the first one is here. You can just do that, and then you get a free download, and then install it on your system. I already have it installed on my own system, so I'm just going to go from there. I've already started doing something. So I'm going to start here. I don't know if you guys are hearing any noise, but sorry for the noise. I'm not alone in my house. So the first thing we're going to do is the select statement. You probably come up, or if you've started SQL, select is the first thing that you learn. So, well, let me just show you the UI of this database quickly. This is where the server is. If you go to the, if you're looking at this task bar, I don't know what they call it. Okay, Object Explorer. This is the server. I'm using a Melodie SQL Express server. You can use any one. If you're working in a corporate environment, you probably will have access to their own server. So if you click on the database pane, you see that it opens up. You see, this is really good. I think it's really good device. Okay, I have 4 other databases. They have this, structure. If you click on master, you can see the tables. You can see the tables here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all the tables. They are symbolized with this sheet-like icon, I think. So what we want to do now is select. We want to select a table from our database, or want to see what is in a table what is in a table that's already in our database. So we start with the select statement. Select, like I said, is a querying language. It's used to query a table in your database, basically. So we're going to select all. This asterisk means all. They're trying to bring all the records in your database. This is the syntax: select all from table name. This is basically from table name. Did you get? We're trying to select everything from a table name. This everything means like selecting all columns. I hope you understand. Selecting all columns from a table name. I'm going to include the table name now. If you want to get a table name, you can just do the table here, as you can see, the table here, DBO customer orders. It can be like DBO dot, because I'm already in master. If you see here, I'm already in my database master. So I can do DBO dot customer orders, and it will query that for me. But if I was not in master, I'd have to do master dot DBO dot customer order. I hope this is like clear. I'm already in my master database. If I was in another database, I'd have to reference where I want to get this, where I'm calling this table from. So if I do this, it brings out everything that's on the table. In the table, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 columns, also fields, order ID, customer ID, pizza ID. We also have 14 records, 14 rows in this customer orders table. So is this clear? Does everybody now know how to select from the database or from a table? Sorry. Is this clear? Can anyone hear me? Am I alone there? Am I alone in this?
No, we hear you loud and clear. We're just following you step by step.
Okay. So, like I said, I just showed you how you can select all records. So now that we know where the column in our database after selecting all, we can decide to just select some particular column. So it can be like select order ID, comma, customer ID, comma, the order time. Okay, order time. We just want 3 columns now to execute that. And this is basically we have order ID, the customer ID, and the order time in our table. So now we're going to learn how to, there's another syntax, there's another syntax, the where clause. I'm going to learn the where clause, or I don't know whether I should, okay, let's learn the distinct clause first. When you are selecting, you can also select distinct. As you can see from our table, our customer ID has different, it has like, you can see duplicates in our customer ID. You can see 101, 101, 182, 102, 102, 102. So we know that these are the same customers. So you can see duplicates here. So if you want to select distinct, you just want to know just one, we can just say select distinct. You can be like select distinct. Normally you can, it doesn't matter, like whether you write it in uppercase or in lowercase, it doesn't matter. Most people prefer to write in uppercase. I find myself writing most times in uppercase, but sometimes when I'm too busy, I just write it in lowercase. So you can, it's not like case sensitive, and it's from what I've gathered while using SQL. So select distinct customer ID. We can also select distinct order ID. As you can see, we also have duplicates in our order ID. So you can select customer ID first. You can see we now have one for each customer. We don't have duplicates anymore. Let me do this while also selecting order ID, maybe order time. Okay. Okay, we're selecting the same customer ID, but because we have duplicates in our order ID, selecting out every other thing. Okay, let's just remove the order ID. Another time. Duplicates in order time too. Anyways, if you want to do if you want to select, just one of each, you usually would use select distinct to just select one of each. I think if I want to really see them one by one, I'll have to use a group by, and we've not gotten there yet. So let's just start to select distinct. Select distinct customer ID from this list. So the next clause we learn is the where clause, where, and it always comes after a from. First you have select, then you have from, then you have where, and where you have to specify a condition. This one is the case for condition. Sorry, it gives me red line because there's nothing like this. If you want to comment out a particular place, you use like, let me go down. You use this just 2 dashes. And anything you write from there is commented out. If you want to comment more than one line, I just hope I remember this one. So I don't use it often. Yes. If you want to comment more than one line, you start like this and end like this. So anything you start, anything after this comment section, any other thing after it is like a normal SQL statement. So let's leave that commented out. So we have select customer ID. Let's do customer ID. Let's start from the DB customer orders. Let's select customer ID, and let me see all the columns that are here first. Okay, what kind of the columns that are here? If you want collect and you want to select customer ID, pizza ID, all this ID, they are referencing another table. So that's why we don't have much information in this data set. So it's looking a bit, doesn't look so wonderful. I wish I had another one I could teach it, but we'll just manage this one. Select customer ID, comma, order time. Order time is the only sensitive information we have there. So order time. So this is the syntax. And now we want to add the where clause. Where, so that means we're looking for something, a condition. We want this our query to meet a specific condition. So maybe we want to select a particular customer. So we can say where customer ID is equal to 101. We know there's only one person that has 101. So execute this, we can see everything about only 101. So where customer ID is equal to 101, it gives us all the data that has customer ID 101. We can also do it for it. We can also do, okay, where customer ID is greater, I don't know if this is int, but I believe it should be, where it is greater than 103. This is a condition. So we're going to execute that. We have 104, 105, 104, 104. I hope this is clear. So that is the where clause for you. Like if I have like a robust database, a robust table where I could, make lots of different conditions, you really appreciate it. But now it looks like, oh, it's just a simple thing. But if you really understand, okay, let's do this one where customer ID equals to 101. Okay, we already have it here. Where customer ID equals to 101, and I don't even use and like that. Okay, where customer ID equals to 101 and pizza ID equals to 1. The customer ID equals to 103. 102. This is, you can use and with the where clause, and pizza ID is equals to 1 plus 1. Then we can believe that I can just show us where it is for pizza ID. So you can see that it's only bringing pizza ID that has 1. Yes. We can use and with the where clause. We can also use not. Where customer ID, we can do when not customer ID. When not customer ID equals to 102 and pizza ID is equal to 1. This is another thing we can use where. That means we don't want any customer ID that is 103. We can also use where customer ID equals to 103 or there's the customer ID again. Where customer ID equals 103 or customer ID equals 101. This is wrong syntax. Okay. If you see the red squiggly line, it means there's something wrong probably with your query. So just try to, you can use that as a debugging method. So you have 101, 101, 102, 102. Or, all means either this or this one. What else can we use with our where syntax? I think that's it for now. We can use like greater than, less than, like I showed before. So I think we're ready to move on to maybe order by. The next clause we're going to learn is order by. So we've gotten select from, we understand select from. We now understand also select from where. Now we're going to do select from where and order by. I hope this is clear. So we're going to do, we already have this one now. So order by comes after a where. Order by. I'm going to order by pizza ID. Let's order by pizza ID. Now we see that everything is ordered by pizza ID. You can see the pizza ID goes 11122. Why this one is, just following the ordering of the pizza ID. You can decide to also order by customer ID. And then you see that the pizza ID becomes scattered because it's trying to follow the ordering of the customer ID. We can order by two things. That means after it has finished ordering by customer ID, it then ordered by pizza ID. Let's try this real quick. You can order customer ID, pizza ID. Yeah, try this best because this is that you cannot order by two things exactly. But if you have like a very big table, you would understand how you can order by two things better. This one is just a small table. And I believe before the two, let me just see how it was before. Okay, the same thing. Cannot really order much. So customer ID. What else? There's a way I like ordering sometimes. I can order by one. One symbolizes the first column, that's in the select statement. Order by one, order by two. Sometimes when I'm so far to far, maybe to type it all out. Order by two, execute. So we're ordering by pizza ID, just like before. This is like a shortcut if you want to order by one, order by two. Or if you want to control everything, if you want to be sure of what you're ordering by, it's always better to use the column name that you want to order by. So that's basically it on the order by clause. We've actually gone far. We've gone from select from where and now order by. So we order by, there are two ways of ordering. Let me not skip this, it's actually very important. You can order by ascending or order by descending. Let's look for another table. Another table that I have here that has maybe some letters, not just numbers. Let's select all from DVO dot customer order pizza name. I will highlight this place to run because if I just execute everything like this one is still here and it will throw an error. Let me just do it for you. It will throw an error because you cannot do this here and want to do this. So if I highlight only this one, it will just give you what I want. So yeah, table is not small. Table is small. I don't think about anything with table. Maybe let's check recipes. Recipe. By the way, I'm looking at the table names from here, just in case you were wondering how I know this table by heart. I don't. Same thing. Copy. I thought I had it better. Okay, this one. This. But it doesn't have. I don't think our customer ID has a token ID, so you can join on it. Everyone join it. Join it not for this class, I think. Okay, so topping, we have topping name. We have all this in the topping. I even ordered already. B, C, and 4. Okay, let's do order by. Order by. I'm going to order by topping name, just like we learned before. Not topping ID, topping name. And now we're going to order descending. Then you can order ascending. ASP, which this is the normal, this is the default ascending. If you just use the order by clause, it always orders ascending because that is the default. But if you want it to order descending, manually you have to manually specify here. You want it to be ordered in descending order. So when we run this, if something's wrong, select all from. You can read the message. You have like an error. You can also read the message. The text next and move it economic consider so to the person using is more unlike operator. Let me check for. I can't do this one. Order by token name. I don't know why this is not working. Okay, let's try. Select token ID. Come on, token name, and then order by December. Still, I guess it's not the right table for it. I'm not sure I'm showing this error, but you can leave that. But now at least you know that you can order descending. You can order descending, maybe with numbers like we have here. Let's try this one. Order by customer ID. Okay, yeah, it works here. You can see now it has been ordered in a descending manner. So it starts from 103 and goes to 101. This is supposed to work. I don't know, maybe there's like there's something with the table. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think we covered order by. If you have any questions, please let me know. So that I don't just talk, and then, leave you behind. Okay. So we're going to learn something else. Insert into. This insert into, like we said before, it is a data manipulation language. Let me go back to my presentation. The data manipulation language. Inserting into, if you want to manipulate data, if you want to add something to this database now, you will use an insert into. So then what should we add to this database? One is a lot. But it will help it will really help if you can add something to it. Let me comment this out. So I'm going to insert into. What's that? Okay, someone trying to say something. Okay, I guess I'll just be quick. So inserting into, this is the syntax. Okay, let me comment everything else. So I can just write the syntax. I keep doing that. This is the syntax. Insert into table name. Table name. You can specify the columns. Column 1, column 2, column 2, column 3. So you want to insert into this table. You specify the columns you want to insert into, and then you write the values. Value 1, value 2, value 3. So this is the syntax for the insert into. So I would like to insert into this table, this our, because it doesn't have any a lot of data. Let's see if we can insert something meaningful into it. Insert into table name. I think we can just call the table directly customer. Yes, customer orders. You don't have to use DBO because we're already in the database. So let's go insert into customer orders. We can select. Ah, okay. I don't think that's what we can do. I was thinking of adding another column, but I just realized we cannot do that with insert. Okay, let's just do the normal insert. Maybe we can do it for another table. So too long and too much numbers. So let's just do it. What's the name of that table? Oh, with sorry, I'm just trying to see what is in this table. Yeah, more meaningful data here. So let's insert into this one. Insert into table name, owner orders. What columns do you want to insert into? If we specify only some of the columns, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we just want to add to specific columns, that means the other column will be null. That means there will be nothing in the other column. Let me add into everything, all the columns. If you want to add into all the columns, you can just put the table name without having to write column 1, column 2. So we're going to add into all values. Order ID. I'll call it 11. Runner ID. I have that to be 3. Yeah, pick up. Make sure we'll not do this one now. Here's the second. I don't like writing this. Order ID. Runner ID. Distance. Duration. So let's just order into these 3 columns. 11, which is the order ID, runner ID 3, distance, let's see, 15 kilometers, and then duration time. This 15 kilometers looks like it's strange. You don't write a string, you symbolize. I don't know if anybody is using Python or another programming language. Most of the times we use double quotes to symbolize strings. This is 10 kilometers. If it was just 10, then you know there's an integer. But because there's kn, this is probably a string. I'm not sure, but it needs to be string. 10 kilometers. Then we have I think I said 5. And then we have 15 minutes also. 15 minutes. I think that's all. So let's try to insert this into our table. So now that we've done that, we can see the message, one row affected, completion time, this. So now if we select all from owner ID, we'll see our row that was added 11 to 15 kilometers here. I didn't specify pickup time. We specified columns, specific columns to add something to. So that's why all the other ones left out are null. If I want to add to the whole table again, let me just add everything this time. 12, let's see the new ID, 15, 15, 15, let me copy this. So this is unit. So if you want to write dates also, like you use a string quotation. So you might just change this date to I think this time. This is a date time. This is a date time column. So you can just change it. Maybe the date you change it to 15, and then leave the time, and then kilometers. You can change it to just 5, and 5 kilometers should take 5 minutes or so. And cancellation, you can leave it as customer cancellation. Yeah. Now, if you do this, it will tell us one row has also been affected, and then you can see that everything we fill there has been filled up. So that's basically the insert into syntax. Going to insert something into the table. So, any questions? I feel like I'm just talking and talking. I hope if you have any questions, please let me know. Yep. So now
We're
to go back
enjoying you
into
so
the.
far. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think I'm going to go back to the select statement. This is a select statement, and now we're going to learn. I don't know if I call it a clause, but this is something that is associated with the select statement. So if you want to select just the first 4 items, use top. Select top 4. Let's just remove this where clause. Let's remove the where clause so that it's not. Okay, we can keep the where clause. No, let's remove it. So there's no condition attached to this select clause. So we want select top for customer ID, pizza ID, and overtime. We want the first 4 records of these columns. So that's what we're going to do. Execute. So you see, it gives us the first 4. Order. Remember, we're ordering in a descending order. Okay, let us remove this clause just so that you guys can see. Do this. You can see all the records here. And you can see when we ordered by descending, it has made 105 to be the first, and then 104, 102, 102. So if you want to pick the top 4, it now brings out the first 4 based on your ordering. So if I'm not ordering in descending order anymore, and see it just basically top 4 based on the ordering. That's basically all for top. Then what else? What else is there? Then next thing I should show you is the group by clause. The group by clause, it comes after from if there's no where clause. If there's a where clause, then it comes after where. I don't know if you got that. If first it select then from, if there's no where clause, you have a group by under the from, or there's a where clause. under the where group by is used for aggregation. If you want to use a group by, you should have an aggregation. You should have an aggregation you're trying to do. Okay, let's first learn some aggregations before we go to group by. So let us remove this order by. I'm just remove this top. So we have this. We have. Let's remove this one. Sorry, it may seem scattered because of all this commenting. Can we just remove the comment that you're not confused or anything? So we're selecting all from this table. So what we're doing, we're selecting all from this table. And now we want to do some application. Probably we want to check, we want to count, how many records we have. Probably, let's say let's say we have a lot of rows that we cannot see just as we're seeing this one. We already know this one is 14. But let's say we have a lot of rows. If you just want to see, you just want to know the count of everything, you will use count. Maybe by saying count. You will use count and put the columns in brackets. This is, you're not counting all the columns, you're counting everything, and you want to know everything, the number of records like this. And you want to know the number of records that are in our database. And it says 14. We have 14 records in your database. The order by clause did not work here because we're not we're doing only an aggregation. So I have to remove that. So let's say this is the first aggregation we're learning count. We want to know the count of our columns. We want to know the count of our table, the number of records that are in our table. So we use count, and this is the result 14. We can also use an alias. We can be like as number of columns. We're doing this because we want this to have a name. We want this output to have a name. So when we execute this, you see we have number of columns. You can either use as or you can just do this and it will give the same result. Most of the time it's good to use as so that anybody that people will still understand. Someone that's experienced in SQL will know what you're talking about. But if you just want readability, as is always good to use. And you don't want to do something like this number of columns. No, you want it to be joined together like this. I think if you want to do that, you probably put it in a bracket or something. I'm not sure, but this is what I think this should be the convention. Just join your alias. Alias means how do I explain alias now? Alias means like you're trying to request for something, but you want it to come as this name. So just make sure the alias is joined together. So enough of alias. Let's learn the second aggregation. So we can still continue with count. And now we can count all this. We can also use the where here, where customer ID equals to 103 and or this is it. And you see that it will give us 7. There are 7 records where customer ID is 103 and or where customer ID is 101. There are 7 records. So you can use where. So if you want to now group by, okay, let me not go to group by it. Let me go to sum. Let's do the sum aggregation. But I need to know how many, what is in our columns. Let me know what we're going to be summing up. Yes, we're going to sum up. Okay. So what do you want to sum up? You want to this one is not it's not good for this database is not good for summing up. Let's see one order. Owner ID. Okay, yes, we can do this. We want to basically sum up the amount of orders that a runner has done. I don't know if you understand that. No, this is not even good. This is like an ID, so it's better to do a count. But if it was like a number, we could have summed it up. Hmm. I'm just struggling with this my database. Okay, let's keep it running. Oh, there's no time for us to do. I think I'll just stop with this our sum, and then maybe in another class we can continue. It's not also good. Okay, fine. Well, there's no place that we can use our summing here that you really understand it. So I think maybe in the other class I will look for a better database, probably something that's more rich, with something that's richer, with with more information in the tables, so that we can properly grasp, the concept of structured query language. So yeah, if there's any question, I don't know. But I think the time is almost up. I don't want to.
Yeah, you're on cue. The timing is perfect, and yeah, we're just enjoying you all the way.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
So I think
so
that's all for today.
yeah, so if there's any question, anyone can throw the question. Melody is a SQL guru, as you can see.
Should I stop sharing my screen or?
No, still share your screen. I think Ori has a question. Ori unmuted herself.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, does anyone have any question at all? Okay, Ace, go ahead. Ace, go ahead, Ace.
All right. Melody, thanks for the whole stuff. I really enjoyed it. But you know, how will I put it now? Can we get like the full workings on these, like maybe outside the training, so that one can go through it again on its own? I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Working.
Yes,
okay, like all these things.
Like all the data, yeah, the whole database.
Yeah. So one can practice.
Okay,
I think
want to
practice and just watch, and you
okay.
you need to put.
Okay, that's fine. I can send you the database, or sorry, not database, the tables. If you want to, this is like, okay, now that you are here, let me just tell you like a quick shortcut. If you have like a table like this, if you want to just convert it to CSV, you can always save results as. The only problem is you will not have the headers. You can save results as CSV, and then you have your own database to work with. But I will try to find a way to copy the headers and then send it to you too. That's not a problem.
All right, thank you, Melody.
You're welcome.
Professor Mel.
Hello, Melody.
Okay, go ahead, Joy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So, what I understand is that you use the Microsoft SQL, right? That's the software that's being used.
Yeah.
Can we use the free trial, Microsoft Azure free trial for this? Or does it have to be a paid?
No, it's free. You can always you just download it and it's free.
And it's free. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. I think that's all. I'll stop sharing my screen now. Please stop sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melody. You have done a very, very, very fantastic job. And I think I speak the mind of the house if we say Melody should continue next week, right? Right?
Yes, she's good.
Yes.
Yes, continue, please.
Okay. so, so Melody, it's another date next week. So when we are done with Sql, hey, Mustafa is just joining. Mustafa, you missed, but you watch the recording, I'm sure. Okay, but welcome, Mustafa. So Melody, next week, hopefully, you are going to continue the...
Sorry, I have a question for you, Mr. Go.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so what I understand is that SQL is a query language, right?
Right.
Yes. And Python is also a programming language.
Yes, Python is a programming language. Okay, you want
So
to know
is
the
it a
difference?
situation of you can use? Yeah, are you trying to say that we can use either of them, or
Okay, let's
is
look
there
at
a
it
reason
this
why we
way.
have to use SQL and not use Python, or use Python and not use
Yes,
SQL?
yes, it's not like an either or scenario. Okay, so
Okay.
look at it this way. Python is a general language, a general they call it general purpose, yeah, general purpose programming language. So it means that the economist can use it, the accountant can use it, the finance person can use it, the software developer can use it, anybody can use it. All right, so it's broad. But SQL is a database management language, which means that anybody that doesn't have anything to do with a database cannot use it. All right. So now Python, because of the way Python is being a general purpose language, they built it in such a way that it does not have persistence, in the sense that when programming, some you hear the word persistence, it means that it doesn't have an internal storage where you store the values that you are generating. Do you get? So whenever you're building something in Python and you need a database for it, it means that you must add SQL to that your Python for SQL to provide the database side of things while you're writing your Python code, right? So for example, right now I'm programming, let's say I'm programming an application that would save the name of all the students and all the scores and everything. If I'm programming such an application, it means that I need a storage. I need like a database where all those names of the students and everything will be stored. That is a candidate for SQL. Only SQL or anything like that can store data. All right. But if it's just maybe like a calculator app, just calculates, no memory, no database or anything, then if it's just no memory, no database, then you don't need yeah, that's it. You don't need SQL, just Python. Right. Okay. So all right
So
then.
for more essential for you.
Okay. Okay, Joy. So have we answered your question?
Yeah, so I'm saying for a data analyst,
Yes.
An essential knowledge for you, as in that is really very important for you, is more of the SQL than the Python.
No, well, as an analyst, you need both. Some people will say you need SQL more than Python. Some will say you need Python more than SQL. It's not really like either or. It depends on the environment where you're working in. If you're working in a major organization that deals with a lot of databases, obviously you would need SQL a lot. But if you're working in an organization where you don't deal with too much of databases, yeah, Python does good for you. So, but you always need to blend two of them. Whenever you have, yeah, SQL on its own cannot stand alone. Python on its own too cannot stand alone. Once there's a database involved, you have to marry two of them.
Okay. Okay,
Right.
I get it now.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. All right. So, if there is no other question, the recording for today's session will be available on the YouTube. I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to drop the link when I upload it, hopefully tonight. And we're going to continue. So what we have decided to do is to do like a fast track on each of the things that we're supposed to cover. So we're going to do a fast track on SQL. Hopefully in 3 meetings, we should be able to cover SQL. Our Python classes are running every Saturday, so we're trying to cover that as well. Once we're done with Python and SQL, for those of you in the data engineering track, we are most likely going to shift gears a bit to some specific data engineering things like capturing streaming data, Airflow, Kafka, and all of that. We're just going to decide on the one we're going to use in the project and then probably spend time looking at it. All right, so from there, we know we have done Python, we have done SQL, we know we have done the data streaming part. So the last thing we're just going to do is to break down the project and just show everybody where you fit in and the final output we are expecting from you. And then by the time we're done, we will now try to marry the whole thing together and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then we'll do the final editing and make it work. So that's it. It's going to be very practical. All right, so please don't miss classes. Thank you guys for your time and your patience. And you can just continue. You can only get better from here. All right, so good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
All right, good night. Bye-bye.